Let's go.
Welcome to the Top of Your Game podcast with Dr. Floyd. The show is dedicated to helping you grow, thrive, and do your best work. Dr. Floyd believes there's greatness within you, and the show is designed to help you live your dream, do your best work, and leave a legacy. Now, here's Dr. Floyd.
Welcome to another episode of the Top of Your Game podcast. I'm Dr. Floyd. Today we're diving into something every high achiever faces, but few master: the comeback. And so on today's episode, I'm talking about the comeback code. Now, let's be real. Rejection, failure, and burnout aren't signs that you're finished. They're signs that it's time for a breakthrough. In this episode, I'll break down how to turn the moments that tried to break you into unstoppable momentum, and how to build stronger, smarter, and more focused than ever before. Now, if life has knocked you down, this one's for you. Because your story doesn't end in defeat, it begins in the comeback. Let's start here. Your comeback begins in your mind. Yes, in your mind, not in your circumstances. So every time life knocks you down, you face two choices. Two choices when life knocks you down. The first one, you can make it personal. I failed, so I'm a failure. Or, number two, you can make it powerful. I failed, so I'm being refined. That's the difference between average and unstoppable. Now, let me be real with you. Early in my career, I faced rejection after rejection. I remember pitching a keynote I poured my soul into, only to hear, "Sorry, we're going in another direction." For days, I questioned everything: my calling, my voice, even my worth. But here's what I discovered. Rejection isn't about you being unworthy. It's about you being unready. Yes, rejection isn't about you being unworthy. It's about you being unready. The word wasn't saying no, it was saying not yet. When I shifted my perspective, that rejection became my fuel. So here's the first part of the comeback code. Don't interpret rejection as rejection. Interpret it as redirection. Now, that mental shift turns the sting of failure into the spark of growth. Listen, think of the last no you heard. What lesson did it carry? What strength did it force you to build? That's your foundation for the comeback. Now, here's what I've learned after coaching leaders, executives, and high achievers all over the world. The most successful people aren't the ones who never fail. They are the ones who use failure as feedback. Yes, they use failure as feedback. When you understand this, you stop avoiding failure and start mining it for wisdom. Now, let me drop this truth on you. Failure is not a verdict. No, failure is not a verdict. It's a vehicle. It carries you from potential to purpose, but only if you're willing to learn while you're low. Every great comeback story, from Michael Jordan being cut from his high school team, to Steve Jobs being fired from Apple, to Oprah Winfrey being told she wasn't fit for TV, started with a no. But those no's became the fuel for their rise. So ask yourself, what story are you telling yourself about your failure? Is it a story of finality or a story of formation? Because when you change your story, you change your strategy. And when you change your strategy, you change your results. Now, let's talk about the silent killer of purpose, burnout. You know that feeling you're doing everything right, but you feel empty? You're showing up, but your fire is gone. Now, burnout doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been running on empty. Yes, burnout doesn't mean you're weak. It simply means you are running on empty. Here's the truth. You can't pour from an empty cup or an empty soul. To come back from burnout, you've got to practice what I call the R3 reset. The R3 reset. The first R, rest. You see, not laziness, but strategic recovery. Then the second R is reflect. Ask yourself, what's draining your energy and why? And the third R is reignite. Reconnect to your why in essence. Now remember, burnout isn't a signal to quit. It's a signal to recalibrate. You see, you can't be unstoppable if you are unavailable to your own well-being. And sometimes the greatest act of strength is pausing long enough to breathe, reset, and rise again. Now, let's break down the comeback code down into four principles that transform adversity into momentum. The first one is reframe the story. Change the narrative from why me to what now. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Number two, rebuild the core. Rebuild the core. When everything falls apart, rebuild around your values, your purpose, faith, and integrity. That's your unshakable foundation. Number three, refocus the vision. Adversity has a way of clearing your view. Sometimes losing what you thought you wanted reveals what you truly need. And number four, run your race. Yes, run your race. Comparison kills comebacks. Don't look at who's ahead. Look at who you are becoming. The race isn't against others. It's against your old self. Now, let me say this. You may have lost ground, but you haven't lost the fight. You may have been knocked down, but you're not knocked out. Your comeback begins the moment you decide to rise again. Not when the circumstances change, but when your mindset does. Once you reframe, rebuild, and refocus, momentum takes over. Momentum doesn't come from motivation, it comes from motion. So remember, every small move compounds into unstoppable force. Don't forget this either. Mountains don't move when you think about climbing. They move when you start climbing. You see, the comeback isn't about doing something big. It's about doing something now. So if you're listening right now, life has hit you hard. I want you to remember this. Yes, remember this. You're not defined by what broke you. You're defined by what you build after the break. You may have been through rejection, failure, or burnout, but your story isn't over. It's just being rewritten by someone who refuses to quit. Because unstoppable isn't something you're born with, it's something you build one comeback at a time. So rise again, believe again, start winning again, because you didn't come this far to only come this far. Thanks for tuning in today. Until next time, live your dream, do your best work, and leave a legacy. Let's get after it.
Let's go.